And we're back with another episode of Light Beer, Dark Money. I'm Sean Noble.
And I'm Chris Clements.
And today we've got a quick one. This is
super quick.
Yeah, Thursday, January 12th.
Super quick rant.
We've just learned that there have been a second set of classified documents discovered at President Joe Biden's home.
I'm sure it's nothing.
In Wilmington, Delaware. Whereas the first batch of documents were found at the Penn Center, which was his, I guess, his offices after he was vice president.
The Penn Biden Center, which I had never heard of before. Had you heard of that before?
No, hadn't.
It was a think tank.
Yeah.
On global affairs. Apparently, it was supported by the Chinese government.
There was some evidence that the CCP
to about
has
$56 million.
Oh my gosh.
$56 million.
So the Chinese government is funding the Penn Biden Center, which is holding classified documents. Yes. And now we find out that there are other classified documents
in a
locked closet.
In a locked closet.
Now we find out there's more documents that are parked behind the Corvette at his home in Wilmington, Delaware. So here's what I think is going to happen.
And it's just rolling.
Yeah. So
it's just rolling.
So this is the setup. They did they found this stuff on Trump. They were investigating. Trump had his stuff at Mar-a-Lago. They were,
but it wasn't really that they found anything. I mean, this had been going on for some time, back and forth.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like
they knew that he had stuff, and they were like, "Hey, we need to get it back." And he was resistant because he wanted to keep the letters from
the
North Korean dictator, whatever, because they were lovely. So what's interesting
they
is
solidified my genius.
You had these conversations about, if he's got these things, this is a violation of certain law that doesn't allow him to hold public office again in the federal government.
Well, that's what they're trying to get at, right?
Right. Now, we are faced with this issue with Biden.
Well, and there's a difference. And the difference is Trump was president. Presidents take documents, they store documents. This happens quite a bit. I mean, it happened to Obama. He had a big warehouse in Chicago that he was storing documents that the archives was aware of, but it wasn't necessarily the most secure place, and that was an issue. So presidents do this. They can classify or declassify anything they want. Right. You know why? Because they're the president.
The president.
The difference, the biggest difference that everyone seems to be missing on this is that Joe Biden was not the president.
Right.
He had no business having any classified documents of any sort, certainly not in a closet in a public building in the heart of Washington, D.C.
Funded by the Chinese government. So,
it's a big point that the mainstream media absolutely does not want to touch.
Right. Well, they don't want to touch it. But what's going to happen is that this is going to escalate. And here's my prediction. This is how they get to, Biden can't run for re-election because he's got this stain. Maybe they even invoke the 25th Amendment. I think it's a setup.
You know what? It's so interesting that you're bringing that up because that's what I thought when this began to roll. Because it just seemed too perfect.
Yeah.
And certainly the first documents were found, they were turned over November 2nd, right before the election. And then all of a sudden they revealed that, by the way, we found these documents. How convenient. And Biden supposedly, as our friend Simon Rosenberg said last week, is gearing up for 2024. He's going to do it. We're going to pump him full of so many drugs and so many narcotics that his eyes just won't be black. They will be dark, dark black. They will be so black, they will be as black. And he'll go up and he'll be able to read what we tell him to read. And then he'll be able to go back to
as long as they keep it
the bowling alley
sentences.
in the White House.
Right.
And yet here comes all this.
Well, and I think that it's always, when the first story broke, I was like, well, okay, I can kind of see how this could happen. I don't know that this is as big of a deal as what we might think. It's the second tranche that's at his home that now adds to
that the Secret Service knew was there.
Well,
don't you think?
There's had to be many people who knew that stuff was there.
But the point again is he was the vice president.
Right.
He had no business having any documents.
So I think it's the second wave now. And who knows?
Is there a third?
There might be a third, but we're going to find out what's in these documents, which is going to be potentially explosive. And that may be what the tipping point is for the calls for him to not run for re-election. So then the question is, what happens with Kamala? And she will...
Kamala?
Yeah.
Kamala.
So she would ascend to the presidency and have the advantage of incumbency if she were to run for the term in 2024.
Oh,
but
so
she's
think
going to be
they're actually going to make him resign?
Yes.
Oh, wow. I hadn't considered that. So you're actually thinking they're going to go for broke?
They're going for broke. I think they're going for broke.
So in terms of the powers that be, why is this the deep state? The deep
This is
state?
beyond the deep state.
This is like the
deepest of the states.
The deepest of the democratic states.
Yeah.
And they're flushing this out.
They're flushing this out. This is all an intelligence operation, and they're going to, I will predict, and I've terrible predictions, as you know.
Well, we both are not.
But it's not outside the realm of possibility.
We both are not the greatest.
They push either a resignation or a 25th Amendment, invoke the 25th Amendment, and then Kamala becomes president.
Oh, my.
I don't think she has a chance of getting the nomination. You're going to have a bloodbath on the Democrat side. But it basically says Biden's gone, and he's gone because of these documents. That's going to preclude Trump. So now it's clear.
So the logic becomes if Trump can't run, Biden can't run.
Well, or if Biden can't run, Trump can't run. Back. So then it's a clear field for a new generation on either side, and it becomes very, very dicey throughout. I mean, the 2024 election is going to be the primary election on both sides. Could absolutely be fascinating.
Going to be one for the ages.
One for the ages. You heard it here first.
Well, I mean that is a big prediction. Now, I totally agree that this seems like a tremendous setup, and
it's a setup.
Yeah, because the first.
If it weren't a setup, they would have just said, "Oh, we found documents here, and we found documents at his house, and it's no big deal." But the fact that it was dribbled out one after the other. And we don't know yet and they haven't said what's, if this was truly like, oh, we made a mistake, here are the documents, here's what's in the documents, it's no big deal. This dribble out effect totally has an operation on it.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, and then Biden has no clue what's happening. I mean, just his statements regarding the documents is just unbelievable.
I'm very surprised.
Well, I mean, his statement the other day was, he got it mixed up that, these documents were found in a D.C. office, a public space. It wasn't like there was an office over at the University of Pennsylvania where these were found.
No.
And so he doesn't, this is dribbling out, as he watches it dribble out.
Yeah.
Or maybe not. Maybe they're just pumping him full of drugs and then he comes out and does his speech and then goes back into the... There's a basement in the White House, but I want to say the bowling alley. Is the bowling alley still there?
It is.
Yeah. So there you go. He's hanging out in the bowling alley.
Hanging out in the bowling alley. Bowling alley Joe.
Bowling alley
Biden. All right. Well, we'll wrap it up for this for now.
But the next rant, I want to tee it up for our listeners because you had a very interesting opportunity last week to attend the inaugural ball of our new fair governor,
yes.
Katie Hobbs. And we have pictures. We have pictures to prove it. In fact, we're going to put them on.
Wait, you have pictures of me?
Pictures of you and your wife dressed up
in a tuxedo. Yeah, first time I've worn a tuxedo since my wedding.
And you weren't in athletic clothes.
Right. That's right.
Which would have been hilarious if you were.
Well, as soon as Lululemon, makes a tux.
So next week we will get the lowdown.
We'll get the lowdown. Let's tease it though. Yeah. With Biden leaving and Kamala.
Yeah.
Potentially becoming the president. And her probably not getting through the primary. If it's Buttigieg or some other dude.
Yeah.
Watch for the talk about Katie Hobbs being on the ticket.
Oh, my.
Arizona's a swing state. She won. Just like Kari Lake was talked about for Trump. You could see Katie Hobbs talked about
I think that's probably still in the cards. I think that's the cards that she's playing.
I don't think so.
With Trump?
No.
I know she was just down in Mar-a-Lago like last week.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So,
I don't think it's happening, but other people disagree with me.
yeah.
Not that I know anything.
Right. All right.
okay.
Until later, guys.
All right.
Thanks for listening.
Take care.
See ya.
Bye-bye.